Yeah, so David was off roaming in the Orient, as he often does, and he heard a rumor that the October top in crypto and the flash crash was connected to a big shutdown of Chinese money laundering operations. And he asked me to look into it. And I think we believe that the October 10th, 2025 crypto liquidation event coincided with and was possibly influenced by a major law enforcement disruption of crypto-based money laundering networks tied to Southeast Asian scam operations.
All right, we're live on X. Welcome back to another episode of Token Narratives. My name's Graham Stone. I'm joined by Alex Richardson and David Sencil of the Bitcoin.com Hive Mind. How you doing, gentlemen?
Excellent.
Doing well.
I didn't hear a response. Okay, there we go. David is confirmed alive. All right, so with the outbreak of war in the Middle East, Bitcoin appears to have finally broken a trend that has been in place since, let's say, October of last year. And that trend is the one where Bitcoin goes down while everything else goes up. Of course, we've seen gold rally, silver rally, equities rally, while Bitcoin just keeps bleeding out forever. And now that seems to be changing. We have stock markets down. We've got gold kind of not really doing anything. Pumped initially back to $5,000 now, kind of bleeding, maybe even forming a double top. I saw Peter Brandt, who's been trolling Bitcoiners for months about how poorly it's been performing. I saw a post from him where he is now switching to trolling Peter Schiff and pointing out that gold's pattern right now is looking like it's a last top from whatever that was, like 1980 or something, where then it just did nothing for like 2 decades. So Bitcoin doing the opposite. At first, when war broke out, Bitcoin sold off, but only very slightly. Then it bounced, and now we've seen a pretty decent candle. It was up as high as 74K earlier today, I believe. Now, at the time of recording, it's $72,000. So I think the question on everyone's mind is, are we so back, or is this a bull trap? Care to weigh in, gentlemen? Excuse me, dying over here.
Yeah, dying of excitement, dying because your bags are finally a little lighter. I'm happy for you, bro. Yeah, I mean, it's a good little first look here. Can't really get carried away. I not to be what's it called? Not to be too much of a wet blanket, but some of the people that I listen to were saying that some of this move could be because the situation in the Middle East hasn't gotten as bad as many people thought, and so it's common to have some slight optimism. But even if this conflict in the Middle East were to completely de-escalate next week, there are some realities of the overall market that we have to still deal with, and in their opinion, it wouldn't be surprising to see a reversal, at least for a short period of time. Having said that, I'll tell you just from my timeline, some analysts that I respect, like Lynn Alden, have started to turn kind of constructive. I think Lynn Alden was on a podcast this week, and she said, yeah, I'm kind of interested in buying Bitcoin here. It could go a little lower, but I think here is a kind of a bottoming period of time. There are a couple more people like that. So that makes me happy. I don't know what about you, Alex?
Yeah, that was a respectable pump. But I continue to believe we're probably going to see a new yearly low for Bitcoin, somewhere between, let's say, 42K, 53K. Just from a purely technical standpoint, things are looking similar to early 2022. We're hovering at the 200-week moving average. RSI is getting very low, below 30, and the classic bottom signals aren't really there. We're not below the average realized price. MVRV hasn't reset. Stock indices are looking kind of exhausted. The rate cutting cycle is being dragged out longer than anticipated. I don't know. So if you're a technical guy, then I think lower prices probably make sense. But on the other hand, this geopolitical predicament that we're in is probably going to add an element of randomness to markets. And like, who knows, maybe the president manages to pull off some kind of magic emergency liquidity event and save his crypto bags on the precious stock market. I'm guessing the administration, maybe they have a few aces up its sleeve to keep markets high. But yeah, the long-term fundamentals are looking juicy, and we can get into that later, I guess. And I think bidding BTC right now on a 2 to 4 year time horizon is pretty good. Like, if you think Bitcoin's going to smash 200K in the next few years, which I do, then you don't really want to be focusing too much on sniping the bottom here.
Yeah. The other interesting thing is, oh God, I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh man, never
Wake
mind.
up, man.
I can't even remember now. What was it going to be about? I'll remember in a second.
Let me jump in. So, didn't Trump just truth a couple of like a day ago, basically saying we got to get this Clarity Act done?
That's what I was going to talk about.
You were going to talk about that, exactly, right? So this seemed significant to me, like putting his political clout behind pushing that, like promoting the Bitcoin and crypto industry right now in the midst of all this chaos does seem significant to me.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say was on Clarity. I still think that it's, again, from people that I follow, it's kind of mixed 50-50 on whether Clarity will get passed or not, right? Half of them think that it will, half of them think it won't. Many are just saying that it's a coin toss. If it does get passed in the next, let's say, 3 or 4 months, I do think it would have a positive impact. Now, here's the thing: if Clarity gets passed and it's decent, right? It's not a completely like I don't know, bank lobbyist shill bill. So if it gets passed and nothing happens to Bitcoin, then I'd be worried. I'm like, oh my God, because that's going to be really good news. And if you don't see a decent price bump off of that, then we still are well into the bear market. But again, I don't think that you can count on it being passed right now. I do know that it does seem that Trump and his various organs in the administration are pushing both sides pretty hard, pushing the banks hard, and I think they're pushing like the crypto side people harder, like Brian Armstrong at Coin. So they really do want to get this done. Can they do it though? That's the issue, especially with all this war stuff going on. It's I don't know. I feel like his political cloud is spread a little thin right now.
All right, Alex and David, you guys have been working on it's an incredible article that we're going to get into here about what I would describe as an explosive theory for what exactly happened on 10/10. So I really want to get into that, but first, we've got a cool video to share with you. Let me line that up while I do that. I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts or preambles to this.
Yeah, so I mean, I can set up this this video we're about to see. Bitcoin.com news is going to take a pretty big role in this conference in Tokyo called Teams Summit. It's happening happening in the heart of Tokyo. And I visited the venue for the first time. It's this absolutely gorgeous venue. I'm used to, I think, the level of detail and attention that you get in Tokyo from the architecture standpoint. But even after all these years, I was surprised at this venue. It's really quite nice. Might be the nicest place I've been to for a conference. And so this little video here is just kind of introducing parts of what you're likely to see if you go to this conference.
All right. Let's play the video.
Graham, you're going to be there too.
Yep.
To check out the venue for the Teams Summit. It's happening here April 7th and 8th. Let's check it out. That classic Japanese attention to detail. Just love how meticulous everything is. Very, very nice. Let's go inside. Okay, here it is, main event. Main venue, I should say. So, taxis and cars are going to use this entrance for Teams, right here. These escalators here. This is to access the XRP event, which is happening concurrently. And then for foot traffic, most people are going to be coming, I imagine, via the excellent public transportation system. We're going to use this entrance here. Oh my. Man, it's going to be an amazing conference. I mean, I was just at Consensus Hong Kong. It's a great conference, but very much felt like a conference. They're all kind of like in these big halls and everything like this. And to have this be the kind of backdrop of it, I think it's going to be awesome. Let's check it out. Oh man, this is so fancy. Oh my God. This is beautiful. This is... Look at this. All right, so this is one of the main conference rooms, I imagine. Talking about stablecoin adoption, RWAs, Japan's future with crypto. Ladies and gentlemen, here I am. Some water, sit down. Okay, that's it. First look at this venue. I am excited. I definitely was excited before, but now I am so excited to have people see this beautiful place. It represents so much of what I love about Japan. This event is going to be very, very unique, not only in terms of the venue, which is definitely unique, but also the size is going to be more intimate. And I think the speakers and the guests, the attendees, are going to have a lot closer time together, learning about crypto in Japan. I think 2026 is going to be a huge year for Japan with the way politicians from the FSA and other parts of the parties are going for it. You could see a lot of big announcements at this conference. I hope there are big announcements. So very, very excited for this. Please come.
There you go. Yeah. Can't wait for April. It's going to be cherry blossoms everywhere. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to enjoy doing the live stream with you, Graham. And then in the times that I'm not on camera, going out into that garden and just sitting under cherry blossom trees, maybe with some green tea or matcha. It's going to be awesome. So
You look like you were having a spiritual breakthrough there, David.
dude, it was like a perfect spring day in February, and I was imagining, again, having gone to so many conferences over the past year and a half, they all kind of feel the same. Big halls, kind of feel like an airport almost, right? The size of these halls is just like very much like an airport feeling. If you've ever been to an airport anywhere in the world, the second you walk into an airport, you're like, hi, this is a very familiar kind of atmosphere, right? And this was not like a conference hall atmosphere whatsoever. It felt more like a very expensive hotel. But then also just like so much of it is outside. They had we didn't show it in the video, but they had like a row of 30 or 40 bonsai trees. And you just go along the row of bonsai trees. It's like 500 years old, 400 years old, 300 years old, 500 years old, right? I mean, just awesome. Very, very cool.
Yeah, sounds sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Japan has a lot of history, obviously, and that's one of the best venues for an event that you can imagine. By the way, if you Bitcoin.com is a partner of this event, and if you purchase tickets with our code, which I've got here, it's Bitcoin C 2026 on Team Zed's website. If you purchase Bitcoin the event tickets using our code, you will be entered to win a VIP ticket. So that's valued at over $3,000. It gives you VIP access. You get I think there's a special dinner. You get all kinds of access. There's going to be a lot of important people at this event. The VIP ticket gives you basically the ability to converse with them.
Yeah. There's 2 full floors that are VIP only, right? So the bottom 2 floors are for the public, for normal ticket holders, and then the upper floors are for VIP. And then yes, the opening dinner is going to have like it's a very, very fancy, nice dinner. Members of the FSA, the minister, she'll be there. One of the heads of the political parties who has been spearheading crypto reform, he will be there, as well as like all the top kind of Japanese sponsors, SBI. They'll all be present for the dinner. So it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So the conference is April 6th, 7th, and 8th, I believe. You can get tickets at teamz.co.jp. And when you use Bitcoin C 2026 at checkout, you'll be entered to win that VIP ticket. You, of course, also get a discount on your ticket. And one last thing, you're entered to win one of our DGen 1 phones, which is also valued at, I think, $600. Very cool on-chain phone running ETHOS, and David's just showing it right there on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah. It's my favorite crypto phone. I know I've said this many times, but it is.
Yeah, we've got one of those. All right, let's get into the meat of today's episode, which again is this really, I would call it an explosive article that you guys wrote. Alex, you wrote it, co-authored by David. This came out of some conversations, some investigations that you did, David, when you were in Hong Kong there. I think some of the people who tipped you off to this, you met there, maybe they go unnamed in this article.
Yeah.
Anonymous sources.
That's right. Yeah, so I mean, it was great.
Let's go into explain what's happening with this.
Well, let me just set the stage for this. So, Consensus Hong Kong, I think one of the best things about Consensus Hong Kong. And this was told to me, and then obviously the fact that this article comes from it I think buttresses this opinion. But basically, it gives you Consensus Hong Kong gives you access to um, mainland Chinese um, VCs, businesses, developers, people who normally don't go to a lot of Western conferences, like, for example, Token 2049 Dubai, or I don't know, Consensus Miami, and things of that nature. They do go to Consensus Hong Kong. Anyway, so speaking with a bunch of people, some of them who have connections to mainland China, it came up this talk on Chinese crypto Twitter came up, and they were asking me, like, what do you think about this? Have you heard about this? This is kind of all the rage on Chinese Twitter. And I was like, what are you talking about? I haven't heard anything about this. And so then they had to kind of walk me through like a child, because I guess it's been pretty popular there for a while. And so then when I got back to Japan, um, I asked Alex to start investigating based on a couple of leads. And then this kind of just opened up the floodgates, and Alex was able to then start accruing all this information and connections. So Alex, I don't know if you want to kick things off on what the thesis is, what this is all about.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so David was off roaming in the Orient, as he often does, and he heard a rumor that the October top in crypto and the flash crash was connected to a big shutdown of Chinese money laundering operations. And he asked me to look into it. And I think we believe that the October 10th, 2025 crypto liquidation event coincided with and was possibly influenced by a major law enforcement disruption of crypto-based money laundering networks tied to Southeast Asian scam operations. And we can go into how crypto is related to Southeast Asian scam operations, but first I'll just give you like a brief timeline of events showing interesting coincidences, and just stop me if this starts not making sense. So in December of 2020, the Lubian mining pool in China gets hacked for 127,000 Bitcoin. And that's the biggest hack ever. And no one really talks about it. I'm not sure if it's not clear that it was a hack or a seizure, but it's weird. If you type in like biggest crypto heists, biggest crypto hacks ever, the list usually starts with the Bybit hack. The Lubian mining thing is like off the radar for whatever reason. So that's December 2020. July 2024, those coins get moved from the hacker's wallet to another address belonging to the US government. Then October 2025, the Eastern District of New York announces an indictment against Cambodian national Chen Ji. Chen Ji was the guy controlling Lubian, and he was indicted for allegedly laundering billions in BTC and stable coins from scams, funneling it through businesses in New York. And that's why New York brought the indictment, because he was meddling in New York businesses, thus justifying US intervention. And then just as that happens, a massive wave of takedowns, raids, and seizures, they all unfold in several scam compounds all over Southeast Asia. Remember, this is just as crypto is topping. October 8th, you can look at the chart. Bitcoin tops within like 24 hours. And then almost every altcoin on every exchange scam wicks to zero. It was crazy. And then silver goes on a 153% rally. Gold makes new all-time highs. Palladium, platinum are also going crazy. And then October 14th, 4 days later, the US admits that it seized 127,000 Bitcoin, which is the exact amount hacked from Lubian, from Chenji, but they never reveal who the original hacker was, aka the US government was probably the original hacker. We don't know that. But then in November, China accuses the US of stealing the 127,000 BTC, November 2025, which begs the question, like, why would the Chinese care that the US government hacked a criminal? So basically the timing here is impeccable, and it's kind of odd that no one really wants to talk about it. And if you if you dig deeper, you'll find out that Chenji was running these massive money laundering networks, and it gets into this thing called T-money, and we can get into that. Is this making sense so far?
Yeah. This is definitely making sense. But let me just there's so many little pieces here that are
Yeah.
interesting. I'll just touch on a couple that you briefly mentioned. The so the could you just get into a little more detail, Alex, about this hack of the 127K Bitcoin? It was brute force, correct? Or
Yes.
is that official, or is that just what we've been told?
That's what Chainalysis and Arkham have determined, and I'm not sure the exact mechanism of how you can figure that out, but that is the general consensus, is that whoever created the wallets for the Lubian mining pool, they used a very amateurish pseudo-random number generator. I think it's called the Mersenne twister, and it's basically a teenager could brute force this in a few minutes on a laptop if they knew how. So it was very amateurish, and it was easy for the hacker to gain access to it.
Yeah.
So this mining pool, Lubian, in 2020 gets hacked for 127K Bitcoin, and just recently the U.S. government says they seized 127K Bitcoin, and I don't understand the connection there.
Well, the connection is that the coins were hacked from Lubian. They sat in an unknown wallet, not moving for 4 years, and then all of a sudden they get moved to the U.S. government wallet. And this has been identified by Arkham. You can look at the wallet on Arkham, and they've identified it as belonging to the U.S. government. But we don't know who the original hacker is. But it kind of looks like the original hacker was the government. It goes from Lubian to the wallet to the government.
Yeah, and also we reached out to Arkham about this fact. We're like, so, what do you think? Is there any indication that the original hacker was the government? And they said there's no clear indication that it is, but it is definitely a possibility, which to me sounds pretty strong. Like, anyway, it's a strong possibility that the original hacker was the government, and then they just left it there in that wallet. And then when all these enforcement actions started to, or I guess it became clear or fleshed out about this criminal network, then they just kind of said, "Oh, we've got this seizure," and they moved it to like designated wallets.
What's the connection between the Lubian mining group, the 127K Bitcoin, and what is it, Chenji, the pig butcher scamming network? This guy, the prince, the head of the Cambodian Prince Investment Group, right? That's the guy that got taken down in October. What's the connection between those two?
The connection is that him and Prince Group owned Lubian.
I see.
Yeah.
And most likely, again, a lot of this is conjecture, right? But like this guy probably, I don't know, he doesn't strike me as a mastermind. I imagine he was the face of it. He was the fall guy. This is not the only time that this has happened, Alex, right? Like you found a story of some middle-aged Chinese lady in London, I believe, who took the fall for billions of like $1 billion in Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, it's very common for random, unassuming Chinese people to get arrested in the West with no expertise, and they come up with these BS explanations like I just solo mined $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, and that's why I'm here living in London above a Chinese restaurant with millions of dollars in purses and gold and stuff.
This is a real story, by the way, Graham. We have it. This is a story that,
Yeah.
so it's not like this is not us making something up and using I don't know, a Twitter post. This is like in a reputable UK publication. So and so
Yeah, the
Chinese
BBC
lady.
reported on this.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So anyway, okay. Let's talk about how this connects. So let's talk about how maybe this connects to crypto, Alex. Right? Like, so you have this guy. He's doing these scams, collecting fiat. He's also got a big bag of Bitcoin and stables. But what's how does this tie together? These two disparate parts.
Yes. So in the Eastern District of New York's indictment, prosecutors said that professional laundering operations received fraudulent proceeds misappropriated from victims of Prince Group's scam operations and then funneled them back to Prince Group, largely with Bitcoin and stable coins. I'll just quote a little bit from the indictment, which is October 8th. They said the common method was to collect scam proceeds in the form of Bitcoin and stablecoins such as USDT or USDC, and then off-ramp them into fiat currencies. The launderers then used that cash to purchase clean Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. And Chenji was directly involved in coordinating those efforts and spoke with co-conspirators about his use of underground money bases and money shops. And just to give you an idea of the scale of this, it was determined that they were earning $30 million a day from fraudulent shajupan, which means pig butchering, and other scams. And you can look at the indictment. There's a photo. It's also in the article where they had massive mobile phone farms, like thousands of phones in a room running automated scams and pig butchering, and probably bots on X, God knows what. And starting in October, they shut down scam centers all across Cambodia, Myanmar. Singapore seized 114 million worth of Xi's stuff. The Taiwanese seized 150 million. Bugattis, Porsche, Ferrari, 11 different apartments in Taipei. Hong Kong police confiscated $353 million in assets, mostly cash and stocks. Thailand seized $420 million worth of stuff, land, condos, yachts, bank deposits. Like it was huge. And that's just one guy. He's probably connected to a larger network.
200 scam centers closed in Cambodia alone. 200 of these centers, like with these rows of mobile phones, or people chained up, like trying to call people around the world to scam them. Those types of scam centers.
Yeah. And it appears another big element to this operation. I didn't know this before, but the Triads, which is like the Chinese Hells Angels, the Chinese mafia, they have a very strong relationship with the Mexican cartels, and they've adopted crypto within the past few years, because crypto modernizes a very well-known money laundering method called mirror trading, which is when there's large-scale currency exchanges that take place without money ever crossing borders. So the classic example is the exchange that takes place between the cartels and the Chinese elite that want to get capital out of China and into investable assets like real estate in Vancouver, London, Sydney, whatever. So the cartels want to get rid of dollars, but the Chinese want dollars. And that's where the triads, or the brokers, they step in. The triads already have an extensive relationship with the cartels. They have legal entities all over Mexico, and they provide the precursor chemicals for meth and opioids that later get processed and sold to junkies all over North American cities. So the triads will use their brokers to buy the dollars from the cartels while simultaneously selling dollars to the Chinese elite. And it's all obfuscated within local legal entities. So that means money never officially crosses borders. And so it doesn't trigger red flags. And crypto totally reduces this system.
Okay. Before you get into the how crypto facilitates that, I'm just trying to understand. So you're a Chinese elite. You've got $10 million, right? You want to buy property in Vancouver.
Well, no. So hold on.
No.
It's not even that you want to buy property. This all revolves around getting capital out of China, right? The whole point is to escape capital controls, right? Because you're worried about having all your money in renminbi and having it in this closed system, and so buying real estate in another country is just another way of holding your capital outside of China. And so it could be real estate's just a good way to do it because you can put in a lot of money into one asset. But so it's most likely they're not even living there, right? Like this is not something they're ever going to use, right? It's just a vehicle to hold their wealth.
Hence the epidemic of empty houses all over different parts of Australia and Canada and the UK.
Right. But what I'm trying to understand is a Chinese elite with excess money that's stuck in China wants to get it out of China. And this is where the Chinese Triads use their relationship with the cartels in the Americas to facilitate. Is that what's happening? To facilitate the movement of capital from that's locked up in China to some way to allocate it outside of China. Is that what's happening here?
Yeah.
The brokers
How does that work, though? Yeah.
The brokers will buy the dollars from the cartels because the cartels have a lot of dollars. They're selling a lot of drugs, and they need to convert it to pesos to get to Mexico. So the triads will use local legal entities in Mexico to sell the cartel's dollars while simultaneously selling dollars to the Chinese elite. But they have a broker in each country. So the cartel's money never leaves Mexico, and the Chinese elite's money never officially leaves China because it goes to the local legal entities. And
Let
so
me
it never
give you an
crosses
example.
borders. Yeah, go ahead.
There's many ways that this happens there, and we didn't have time to put all these different stories. And it doesn't happen just in like Mexico. It happens in Canada a lot. It happens in the UK. Last week there was an article about a slightly different wrinkle on this, which is precursors for drugs will be shipped to Europe or the UK. The local organized crime, they will buy the precursors for euros or pounds. Those euros and pounds are then given to Chinese exchange students or Chinese people who are working on a visa, right? Temporary work visa in those countries. And then those people will buy stuff. And so then that they're able to transfer that value to high net worth individuals on the other side. So then Chinese people in China will give a lot of renminbi, right, to the local organized crime, the triads and whatnot, obviously at a big discount, right? And so the money is never transferred, but like goods or services or something like that can be transferred, but money isn't.
Okay. Now, I guess crypto modernizes this by basically just obfuscating or eliminating the need for these triads and mafia cartels to have a shared ledger. They can just like move. Is that how crypto modernizes it?
Yeah, it reduces friction and the need for using trusted entities in each country. It's a lot easier to just send money over wallets as opposed to like setting up these vague, like mysterious businesses. Maybe it's like a financial services firm and they're constantly at risk of being investigated. It's a lot easier to just use cryptocurrency and the blockchain, a lot faster, a lot cheaper. And you don't necessarily need to have a trusted associate in the other jurisdiction. You just need a wallet address.
Exactly. You could have a hardware wallet, right? And so instead of exactly as Alex says, instead, like imagine you're a high net worth individual in China. You have to trust that this transaction is happening on the other side of the world in such a way. But instead, you just have your hardware wallet, and you see that 5 Bitcoin are transferred to that wallet, and then now you have possession of it. There it is. Now, but then the other part of it then is, well, you want clean Bitcoin or something like that, right? Like you want Bitcoin that can't be necessarily uh, tied to something negative. Maybe for stable coins as well. You want to have stable coins that have as clean of an association as possible. So there's probably many different ways in which these webs work. I think Alex, you and I were talking a week ago that a lot of these pig butchering scams. Well, maybe I'll let you tell it, right? Like the money starts out as fiat, right, Alex?
Yeah. Because when they're scamming someone, the victim isn't going to necessarily transfer them cryptocurrency. They're going to send them a bank wire. So the scam operation would, in short, obtain digital assets by taking the proceeds from the scam, send it to an offshore bank or a non KYC crypto exchange, convert it into crypto, and then the black crypto from the hacks is then sold at a discount to banks willing to play ball somewhere in China usually. And then the crypto is washed in mule fleets in China and Southeast Asia. So now you have your clean crypto, and that clean crypto is sold to the people that want to get their assets abroad in China. And then they purchase the assets in other countries and they can park their wealth in crypto, stable coins, yield generating pools, whatever.
Okay, now is the time to explain what this has to do with the 1010 crash.
Okay, so Chenji and Prince Group's Bitcoin stash at its peak was worth $14 billion. And I think if they weren't hacked and they continued mining today, it would be the biggest Bitcoin treasury in the world. Like right now, even after the hack, it would be the second biggest stash of Bitcoin after Strategy. So that's whatever, 10, 15 billion, whatever it is. They seized over a billion in different assets, one guy. So we have to assume that there's a whole bunch of guys just like this. How many billions of dollars in scam revenue was relying on digital assets and Bitcoin and stable coins to launder their proceeds? And it was all shut down on October 8th. And you have to wonder that if there were other players, which we must assume that there are, they're watching all this happening. Every scam compound in every country is shutting down. The workers are being deported. They're fleeing away, scattering away. Everyone's being arrested. You have to assume that they probably had to shut down their operations, and there was a massive liquidity pull from exchanges, maybe market makers. We don't know, but the timing is so impeccable. October 8th, they indict them, the coins are seized, and then mass arrests start happening, and then the altcoins start scamming to zero, and Bitcoin tops out. It just seems like you're really not going to try to cite that as a potential reason for the top and the bear market. It's speculative, but it does seem worth exploring beyond just pure mechanical failures.
Yeah. So the basic idea that was said to me in Hong Kong and what was being talked about on Chinese crypto Twitter was basically that for them, a lot of the volume and a lot of the movement, a lot of the real use case of crypto was tied up in all this, right? And so once this multinational effort was made to shut this down in Cambodia, all these nations came together and stopped all this stuff, then it removed a lot of this kind of real world usage of crypto, a lot of the actual real liquidity. Right? This is kind of like yeah, I mean, this is Bitcoin, this is like stable coins, this is fiat. This is not some like inflated token that has like a 10 billion FDV, but is actually that has like nothing in liquidity, right? This is tangible tangible liquidity. So then that gets seized and pulled, and perhaps market makers, other people who are kind of behind the scenes on exchanges, they get spooked that the liquidity that they could tap if they needed to, right, is gone suddenly. And the volume and the revenue from transactions is gone. And so then it primes them to have very thin books for some event to happen. And so you have the tariff thing is probably the straw that broke the camel's back, the spark, if you will. And then they and the market makers and all that, they just pulled whatever they had super fast, and there was nothing there. And all that crime money was obviously gone. And so you just saw the market fall, the flash crash, right, instantly like that. And then obviously there was other, again, we're not saying that this is the only cause. If you read the article, it does talk about other things, right? Like the kind of the now infamous Binance, what's called API problem, whatever. The ADL situation, right? You had perp dexes for the first time becoming a meaningful part of the leverage in the system, and ADL was what was well understood, but it had never been really kind of stressed like this, and so that also kind of exacerbated things. And what we're claiming here is that this is just another contributor to all of these kind of layers that stacked up and caused the flash crash. Again, the last part is we obviously don't know, right? And it would be, I think it'd be really hard to, I mean, I guess you'd have to find some market makers, maybe in China or something, that would go on record and say, yeah, we got skittish after all these arrests. Not because they're doing anything illegal, nothing like that. Just because pools of liquidity that they could tap in emergencies just gone suddenly, making them want to protect what they have very carefully. So that to me is kind of the connection with 1010.
Yeah, there's quite obviously a very large underground economy that depends on digital assets. Saying that crypto is good for money laundering, it sounds like cliche FUD, but it is true, and it's being done by the billions daily. It's okay to just like be honest about it. They do use Bitcoin and stablecoins to launder scam money, and the payment rails were largely shut off in October, correlated pretty nicely with the top. Of course, there's other factors that people have gone through: bad liquidity conditions, the macro shock, the 4-year cycle, lack of social interest. It was a perfect storm, but I think it's probably dishonest to skip over the fact that the biggest crypto money laundering operation of all time was taken down at the same time.
Yeah. Also, like, there's a lot of like, again, there's a lot of other coincidences, and this was also talked about on Chinese Twitter. Again, it's so interesting that again none of this was done in English CT. But so you have October happen, and then you have afterwards you have silver rally. I think it's like 150% from that crash. Now, who was the marginal buyer of silver during this whole time? Chinese. It was the Chinese, and it wasn't Chinese institutions. It was right. It was retail. Now, one idea that I heard when I was in Hong Kong was these high net worth individuals suddenly they still have this kind of insatiable interest to get capital out of China, right? So this crypto avenue is kind of shut off. They weren't going to just stop trying to get money out. So what is like one of the last most easy ways to do it? Well, it's through precious metals, which they can buy. And so they started buying a ton of gold and silver, and you saw that particularly with silver. Maybe it's a coincidence, but it also could just be the fact that, well, our first and best way to do it, the cleanest way, crypto is kind of out of commission for a while. I'm sure it'll come back, right? Like there's an obviously willing market, so I don't think you can keep it down that long. But that also seems to me like a viable thing. Is like they turn to silver, right? Because they the show must go on. You gotta continue to get capital out. And this is being discussed on Chinese Twitter, apparently. So pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, extremely interesting. So thanks, guys, for preparing that article. Unless there's anything else on this topic that you'd like to discuss, I thought we would close off today's episode on a bit of a lighter note.
I would say the last thing about this is Alex and I both had the feeling of like opening. I don't even know how you describe it. You start with like this little thing, and then it just kind of becomes this big web. And so we are planning to have at least one, maybe two more articles on this topic, just because there's so much here, and so we're look forward to that.
Yeah, Pandora's
this thing's
box
really
you
big.
guys opened up. Yeah, can't wait to see the rest of the series. Yeah, looking forward to that. All right, guys, I want to share this video that's been going viral, and I just opened up my timeline here, and it's not everybody's talking about the Shape Store. All right, so let's just play this video.
No.
Okay.
Oh
All right,
no.
here we go.
Oh, that looks sweet.
Have you not seen that, Alex? Is this your first time?
No, I have seen it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's definitely gone incredibly viral. Graham, you're muted,
You're muted.
sir.
Thank you. People are calling this the most devastating and iconic work of conceptual art in decades. It's everything. This is a post from a gentleman named the David Piv. It's everything that these so-called transgressive artists have tried but failed miserably to achieve since Lenny Bruce. It is the actual truth. That's one take on the Shape Store. Now, what does this have to do with crypto? Obviously, there's a token. Now, I haven't opened up the old deck screener for a while, and I'm not sure if I've got the right token, but I'm looking at
Give us the
one
CA.
here. Yeah, we've got it. Pull it up, deck streamer. It's been a while. The Shape Store seems legit. All right, look at the
That's
chart.
a nice dip.
Got a nice buying opportunity here. It's only at it's less than $1 million. This tokens. If this level of hype was on the timeline during meme coin season a year and a half ago, this thing would be 50 mil minimum.
Oh, minimum. Absolutely minimum.
Yeah. So
Is it on
But, I mean,
Solana?
it's on Solana. So shape on Solana on pump. It's a pump swap. It's a pump token. So little sliver of animal spirits creeping back into the crypto markets, it would seem.
do you think that meme? So here, I wonder if meme coins are going to come back, or are they going to take the NFT route and just be relegated to like a much smaller part of the market for the rest of all time? What do you guys think? Let's say
I think we're exhausted after fart and piss and retard shit coin. Like we're
retardio. I
Yeah,
was a big retardio.
Oh yeah, you can only push it too far.
But let's say we get into a raging hard bull market. Meme coins don't come back.
Maybe the majors like Doge and Shib or something, but seems like a pretty limited space. There's just too many. Dispersion exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we haven't overcome the problems of what that happened last time, which was just like extraction by meme coin cabals. I don't think there's been any improvement on that front. So there's going to be a smaller pool of people available to be, what's the word? Filter to
Fleeced?
be scammed.
Yeah.
Fleeced. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they will come back, but they'll be what's it called, a shadow of their former self. I interviewed Yatsui today, and my first question to him was, "You're Animoca. What happened to NFTs, man? what's going on?" And but his answer was actually really good. He was like, what do you think the volume was for last month? NFTs. What do you think, guys?
I don't know the numbers, but let's say 25% of the peak.
I would say less. I would guess
Yeah.
5, 10.
Yeah, it was 300 to 350 million. That's like the average now, 300 to 350 million. It's pretty good. That's not bad. And the peak was like, I can't remember. Anyway, it was I think like $1 billion a month or something like that. But if you think about it,
So yeah,
like
25% of the peak.
Yeah, but still, that's still much better than I thought. I was thinking more like Alex, right? Like if you think that's not bad at all for an asset class that didn't exist really like 5 or 6 years ago. 300.
What are the big
350
NFTs right now? What are the big
I don't know,
collections?
man.
It's like
I
Donald
have no
Trump's
idea.
trading cards?
No, no idea. No idea. But again, what I'm saying is I think you'll see meme coins be kind of like that, which is bull market will come back or this kind of thing. There'll be some runners, but I personally don't think that you're going to see this kind of. I think you'll see speculation.
Speculation will come back. I mean, if I just think about myself, right? I see this. But I see this shape thing, this meme, right? And I hear token. I see it on my timeline, and I bring up the chart. I'm back, right? I'm looking at it. So if I'm back,
but
there's going to be others.
I think all the speculation in general moved to TradFi, right? I mean, it moved to all this like AI stuff. There was the quantum computer stuff. And my guess is that money will rotate eventually to crypto, but it's not going to rotate to the mouth-breathing, brain-dead retard stuff like meme coins. It'll do the speculative thing on like, I don't know, whatever the next it'll be like crypto AI stuff maybe,
AI
or whatever
stuff or
right?
whatever. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever it ends up being. All right. Let's wrap it up there, gentlemen. That was another great episode of Token Narratives. Thank you for your insights.
Podcast.
Yeah, another great pod. Have a great weekend, everyone.